So aspect is the direction in which hillside is going downhill. Essentially, if rain were to come down, which way would it go? We'll record that using our compass. Well, if we were to drop a ball and rain were to come down, it would roll that way-ish. Are you kind of in agreement?
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like somewhere over here, because it sort of slopes up a little bit over here. So somewhere over here.
Yeah.
I'll walk down and we can kind of decide a little bit.
So Maggie's walking in the direction of the aspect. Maggie, I think it's by that sapling.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Thinking like here-ish.
Yeah, I'm thinking like there.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my compass and I'm gonna turn it to where I think her direction is. So it should just be a little bit past north. And then I line myself up. And then similar to how we did our plot setup, I'm just gonna point it at her. Looks like it's about there. So if I want to adjust, I can turn this part of my compass back and forth like this. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna point the compass at her. I'm making sure that red is in the shed, just like we did for north. So that'll point me in the direction that she's standing at. Okay, I think I got my aspect, and what I'm getting is 7 degrees, which makes sense because it's just a little bit past north. All right, so now that I know that she is at 7 degrees, I'm gonna start recording my slope. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna stand at this end, and I'm going to look through the clinometer to get my slope. And then she'll go to the other end, and I'll get a number that way too. And then we'll choose the average of those two numbers. So Maggie and I are the same height, so I use that black line in the clinometer to line up right with her eyesight, and that's where I record the slope, whatever number corresponds with that. If I was shorter than her, I need to find where my eyesight is on her body, and that's where I would record it. But with this method, I end up getting a 6% slope. Okay, so I'm doing the exact same process on this side, lining up that black line with her eyesight. And on this side, I'm getting 11% as my slope. So 11 plus 6 equals 17 divided by 2. That's 8.5 for a 9% slope. There's a few key things to remember whenever you're taking photos at your plot. One, make sure that there is no gear in the photo. Gear in the photo really takes away from the integrity of the photo because we're trying to capture what was happening at that time. And so we want to make sure it's more of the natural landscape that you're standing in. Two, make sure that there's no people standing in your photo. Similar lines of gear, you want to capture that integrity of nature. So even the person holding the whiteboard in the photo, sometimes it's hard to not have them in the photo. Sometimes they absolutely have to be in the photo based on your landscape. So don't, if it's really challenging, that's okay. However, for the most part, try to just have their arm in the photo or like limited body parts in the photo. 3 is make sure you're centering your photos correctly. So you always want to be able to see your transects. You want to always be able to see your whiteboard so it can show the plot name, the date, and what direction you're standing in. So that way, whenever we go and look at and and compare years, we can see like very clearly the landscape has changed over the years. So another important thing too is to make sure you don't blur your photos. Sometimes we have a tendency to take a photo really quickly, and as a result, we get kind of blurry photos. Make sure you hold up the camera correctly, take your time, hold it up to eye level, check your photo, make sure it looks good, make sure you can read everything on the whiteboard, things like that. Taking high quality photos is really important for two reasons. One, photos help us whenever we're trying to come back to a plot that has already been established. We can see where plot center was based on the photos. So taking those photos can help us see like, oh, that tree over there, that's definitely the northern direction and it's on this side. So that means plot center's here. You know, those kind of like directional assistance. But taking a good photo is also really important for capturing, like I said, that before and after treatment, over time, things like that. Having those good photos really provides a lot of great quality to your data.
So we're gonna have a whiteboard in each photo with the plot name, the whole thing with the plot code, identifier and the plot number, and then we're also gonna put the date that we are at the plot. So let's start with that. We're at Boy Scout Ranch, BSR, 1T1, we're in treatment unit, 01, and it is the 19th of October, 2023. We're also going to put the direction that we're facing on there. So we're going to go north first. That can just help us identify the photos later on.
The first photo that I'm taking is going to be our down photo. So what I'm doing is I'm standing 5 feet from the plot center. I'm having Maggie kneel like this. So what I'm checking as I'm about to take this photo is I'm checking to make sure I can read my whiteboard. I'm checking to make sure that the transect is down the middle of the photo. And I'm also checking to make sure I don't see deer, which I do. So Maggie, go ahead and move your backpack away for me.
Sure. Back to 50, and I'm standing at 50 feet, as it says in the protocol.
Yep, 10 feet from plot center. Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to ask Maggie to tilt the whiteboard toward me, because sometimes I can help if you can't really see it or read it. And then I'm taking the picture. So next, we're going to do eye level, facing north. And so I'm going to have Maggie hold up the whiteboard. Perfect. Again, I'm making sure I can see the transect. I'm making sure I can read the whiteboard. However, Maggie is a little bit in the picture, so I'm going to have her step out just a foot. That's perfect. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. The next one I'm taking is Canopy. So I still want to be somewhat at eye level, but I want to tilt it up so I'm getting a picture of that forest canopy. And I'm making sure, so I want Maggie actually to stand in the bottom right corner. So I'm going to have her step to the side for me. That's perfect. I'm going to ask her to actually tilt the whiteboard back because there's a lot of shade in this picture and I want some sunlight. Perfect. She's not in it. Whiteboard is only in it. I can catch her to the canopy. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've done everything at north, we're going to take eye level pictures at east, south, and west. And so we write east on that whiteboard, and we're just going to repeat the same eye level process as we did for north.
The fuel model key is a dichotomous key that we use to describe fire behavior across the landscape.
Here at CFRI, for our fuel model key, we are using the one based on the Scott and Burgum 2005 RMRS GTR 153. So this is best to do, I think, with a partner. Typically, crew leaders at CFRI tend to do this step. So Maggie and I are going to talk about what we think. We're going to go through this key and talk about what we think is on this landscape. So the first option, nearly pure grass and or forb type.
It is a lot of grass, but I don't know if I'd go pure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go pure grass or forb. There's still a lot of like understory or like litter on the ground.
Lots of trees, yeah.
Lots of trees, yeah. So number 2, mixture of grass and shrub up to 50% shrub cover.
50% shrub cover is not. There's shrub, but not that
much shrub, yeah. Number 3, shrubs cover at least 50% of the site. Grass sparse to non-existent.
Still shrub, nope.
Still shrub, nope. Number 4, grass or shrubs mixed with litter from forest canopy. I would say, it's definitely, that feels like more representative of what's here. Let's look at our first option, which is TU1. Fuel bed is low load of grass and or shrub with litter, spread rate low, flame length low. To me, that sounds pretty characteristic, but maybe let's check the other options to make sure they don't sound characteristic. Okay, TU4. Fuel bed is short conifer trees with grass or moss understory, spread rate moderate, flame length moderate.
Short conifer trees is not correct, so I would say no.
Yeah, it's mostly like grass and shrub with litter. Okay, third option, TU5. Fuel bed is a high load of conifer litter with shrub understory, spread rate low or spread rate moderate, flame length moderate.
Wouldn't say high load conifer litter. I mean, there's conifer litter, but
it's not a high load. So we're gonna go with TU1. Fuel bed is low load of grass and or shrub with litter, spread rate low, flame length low.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the grass might be a little higher load than that, but I think that's the best match. So
I agree. Yep.